Shalom. Call halal Yahweh Bashan Abashai Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so. Now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners, and to the Akwaf that are listening and learning. To you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago. All right. And for some of you, that's Malcolm, not Malcolm. All right. This is part 2 of the Alexander the Great, the Israelites under the pseudo-Greeks rulership. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to turn it into a 3-part series. Well, this is the book that so many people are asking about on the comment board. I've done videos with this book before, and I should have just, I was so hot to respond. I didn't think to show the book because I've shown it so many times in the past. But it's called The Image of Black in Western Art. It's by David Benham and Henry Louis Gates. It was edited by them. Henry Louis Gates Jr. One brother put on a comment board that he saw it on Amazon, and there's a three-part series. This is volume 1. I have volume 1 and 3. I don't have 2. And volume 1 and 3, actually, these were gifted to me by a beautiful Reubenite brother. He wanted me to do something with them, and I have. But the price for them was over $100, and I'm pretty sure that they didn't cost that prior to the videos that I did profiling them. That's what Esau does. When the Israelites use certain material, they always jack the prices up. But let's turn the page and get it to where we were. All right, that's clearly a Negro being killed by a lion right there, with his woolly hair, with his fro. That's an Israelite. That's what they would call a Jew being killed in the Colosseum. So you can see when it shows you who the Jews were that were dying in the Colosseum. All right, but let's get back to where we were. That's Egypt. Perfect. So we're going to start right there as I begin the reading. So I'm going to profile some scriptures first. And this one is going to be more biblical, and I'll do the more thorough breakdown on the historical portion. I'll recircle back to that in the third one, Yahweh Ratazah. But let's start with some scriptures while we are taking in the images of this. Now remember, this particular image was an image of Hercules. All right, you see the big black figure killing all those priests. He's stepping on one, he's choking out two, he's throwing them around, he's killing them, and these are the soldiers coming to their rescues. This is all on one vase. This vase is telling a story, and there's the places where you can find them. All right, so so there you go. They're showing you Egyptians. They're saying Egyptians, but it's Greek art. No, because these were Europeans. They were not Egyptians, and we're going to prove that thoroughly when we go into this book, Blacks in Antiquity. All right, that's going to be part 3. Okay, by Frank M. Snowden Jr. We're gonna go into this book next, but let's get with some scriptures. This is First Maccabees, the first chapter, and I'm gonna read verses 11 through 15, and it reads: In those days there went out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, Let us go make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us, for since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were forward herein, and they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinance of the heathen, whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the heathen. All right, and I reference Acts 16:1 and Romans 2:25 for that. All right, verse 15, and it says, and made themselves uncircumcised, and forsook the holy covenant, and joined themselves to the heathen, and was sold unto mischief. All right, so Jake went off into the heathenistic ways. Matter of fact, let's go up to verse 48 and 49. That they should also leave their children uncircumcised to make their souls abominable with all matter of uncleanness and profanation, to the end that they might forget the law and change all the ordinances. So this was that falling away. Israel fell away from their heritage and forgot who they were for the most part. This was a part of that. All right. And as we go through these images, because we're going to, and circle back to them, you'll see how when they were joined unto these new Greeks, which this is the evidence of it, how it changed from this to that. This is just more evidence of that. They started following after their fashions. All right, and you see all the art of Jake just naked, exercising, naked and nude, fighting, boxing in the arenas, wrestling, doing sports. We're going to find some of those images. We're just going to flip through them. We just keep turning until we find them. All right, because we saw a lot. These are the same images we showed in the first video. But we're going to get to a couple of them just to prove that point. Here we go. See, Jake posing naked and nude. All right, this was a learned behavior from Esau, Edom. Because in our culture, it was forbidden for a man to see another man's nakedness. All right. And this is that Hellenization period. That part of the Bible, that time in history that the Christians leave out. See, they skip past the Greek Empire and jump right to the Roman Empire. So remember, they go from the Babylonian and Assyrian captivity straight to Rome. Straight to the time of Jerusalem, Egypt, and and the Jews when they were in Rome and all throughout those areas. They just completely leave out this time period right here. This is 2nd Ezra 7 and 48, all right, and 28. And it says, "For my son Yahushua shall be revealed with those that be with him," all right, "and that they might remain, Salakia, and they that remain shall rejoice within 400 years. So it was a 400-year period of time, all right, during the Hellenization of Jake. And this is what you ended up with. Our women being naked, our men being naked, all right. This image is on this pottery, all right. And you can clearly see that these were so-called Negroes of prestige. Like we said, a lot of them, when you get to Romans, they were jewelry makers, and remember in Acts, the people with all the silver and the idols of Diana. So here's let's zoom in on that, where you can find these images, okay, and what they're called. I'm just putting the information out there. All right, and remember, museums are evidence of Esau's rape, robbery, and murder, of his collection of his spoils that he got from the nation. Here you go. This was let's zoom in on it. We talked about this one in the first one. Let's let you read it. All right, what it is. All right, and these are actually made of gold. So these are gold heads of faces of Negroes. Okay, of so-called Negroes on this art, on this pottery. So this is not something that will be done for a slave. This is something that will be done for someone who was wealthy or noble. Here you go. You got Jake in a boxing match, naked, pugilist. You can see their hand wraps on. A bare knuckle boxing match. All right? And all this artistry with them completely naked. You can see the genitals. Okay? This was that Hellenization period, as they were mixing and mingling with Esau, Edom. Like you said, as I said before, no one would put this sort of effort into keeping relics and making statues and heads of their slaves. If that was so, America will be littered with art like this from the time of slavery. But all the art you see is of Robert E. Lee and et cetera, et cetera. All these statues that are currently being torn down, these were your Hellenized Jews that are spoken of in Acts 6:1 and Acts 9:29. When it starts talking about there's no difference between the Greek or Jew. This is what they were talking about, this Hellenized period when the Israelites became Greek and started doing stuff like this, being naked. As a matter of fact, let's go to Second Ezra's, no, not Second Ezra's, but Maccabees, Second Maccabees 4 and 9. All right, so let's shoot over there real quick. This is Second Maccabees 4 and I'm sorry, not there. Oh, I mean, first Maccabees, Salakia. That's why it wasn't right. Okay. Yes, it says. It reads. This is Second Maccabees 4 and 9, and it reads. Besides this, he promised to assign 150 more. If they, I'm gonna start at verse 7. After the death of Seleucus, when the kingdom of Antiochus, called Epiphanes, took the kingdom, Jason and his brother Onias labored. You know, Jason was one of them wicked Israelites. You know, that's what we were talking about. Jason and Bacchades. These were people who were leading our people into sin. The people that were fighting against the Maccabees. All right, fighting for Esau against their own brothers. Same way you got people, our people that go become cops and soldiers today. All right, but it says, but after the death of Seleucus, when Antiochus called Epiphanes took the kingdom, Jason, a brother of Onias, labored underhand to be high priest, promising unto the king by intercession 360 talents of silver and another revenue 80 talents. Besides this, he promised to assign 150 more if he might have the license to set up a place of exercise for the training of the youth in the fashion of the heathen, and to write them of Jerusalem by the name of Antiochians. Verse 10, which the king had granted and had gotten into his hand the rule forthwith, brought his own nation to the Greekish fashion. All right? See how people were brought to the Greekish fashion. So that's why when you read, like we were talking about, there's no difference between Greek nor Jew. Paul was talking to the Israelites. Galatians 3 and 8 was talking about scattered Israelites that were scattered all over Europe, Asia, you know, and India, and all those places that are mentioned in Acts, the 2nd chapter. You know, and I think it named like 9 or 10 different countries, you know, and basically the whole known world back then. The Israelites were scattered to. The southern kingdom was, because the northern kingdom was mostly, you know, because there was a few northern kingdoms still sprinkled here and about. There's evidence of that in the New Testament. But mostly the northern kingdom was here in the Americas during this time. All right, they were here. Okay. So let's grab Acts 10 and 1. Actually, I'm in Hosea, so I'll just start there. This is Hosea 8 and 8, and it says, for Israel is swallowed up, and now they be among the Gentiles as a vessel wherein there is no pleasure. See, we became Gentiles. So it shows you that the Israelites actually became in a Gentile state of mind. Okay? And that's that's why the disciples, Peter was his lot was to go to the children of Israel that knew they were Israel, and Paul's lot was to go to the Hellenized Jews. What you're looking at. All right, to these Hellenized Jews. There you go. And let's look at this one. Let's click on it. The statue of a young Negro, perhaps a musician in a Hellenistic period. The Hellenist. So what was a Hellenist? I just talked about that. Look it up. Acts 6 and 1, Acts 9 and 29. You can look those up in the Bible dictionary. It's going to tell you that those were Greek-speaking Jews. This right here was a Greek-speaking Jew who had come to the Greekish fashion. All right, you see that with his rod and balls just swinging in the wind, uncircumcised. You see, and that was Jake. That's what we became, man. Well, you know, the Southern Kingdom. That's what they did, man. That's one last scripture. Let's go to Acts, to the book of Acts 10:1. All right, and it reads, there was a certain man in Caesarea called Cornelius, a centurion of the band called the Italian band. Then here's the kicker. It says a devout man. So the devout, Acts, when it described the devout men, it described them as the Jews. Because no one else was devout to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, to the ways of the Israelites, except the Israelites. Okay? The Jewish converts at that time, the Herodians, who were Edomites, they were already they were wearing hats and covering up the crown of their head and following the Talmud even back then. All right? But verse 2, a devout man and one that feared power with all his house, which gave much alms to the people and prayed to power always. So his whole family believed. Why? Because they were these Hellenistic Jews that heard the gospel of the Lord and came back to their heritage. All right? So I'm going to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. And to the next lesson, call Halal Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Rakakwadash, Wa Abba Babal, Shalom.